succession. So here also it has been created, clarified that he should be devoted under in what disciplic succession. It is known as parampara. It is coming down from Krishna himself, Lord Shri Krishna. Lord Krishna, like for us, our parampara is Lord Krishna instructed this knowledge to Brahma. Brahmaji instructed it to Madhavacharya. Narad to Vyasadev, Vyasadev to Madhavacharya. Like this, if you see the introduction, the end of the introduction, the whole thing is given. He's opened up the page. Vishnu. So you can see the whole parampara, disciplic succession. It should come through disciplic succession. You should not be an upstart. What does an upstart means? Oh, I took this knowledge on my own just by reading book. If someone tells you how he became a doctor, just by studying books, never went to the medical college, would you go for treatment to him? I will never look towards that clinic. हो सकता है just by seeing the clinic I may fall sick. You will not go that side. No, I have read all the books in the world. Oh, you read all the books, you must have read it 100 times. I am still not coming to you because you have never gone to study this under a teacher. So upstart means like these people who never go to the teacher. That's what Prabhupada is saying, that you should first become a disciple. Disciple means under discipline. You should have taken this knowledge, learned this knowledge. You are a teacher later, but first you are a student, right or wrong? You are first a student, then a teacher. But today, people want to become straight teacher, no student. And it's basically for spiritual knowledge. Basically for this knowledge, which is more subtle. Subtle means sukshma. It is more subtle. The more the subtler the knowledge, the more the help you need, the more guidance you need. Right or wrong? Yes. Yes, disciple and student is the same thing. Disciple is a technical name for a student who is studying spiritual knowledge. Simple. Understood? Disciple is a technical name for student in spiritual science. Student may be disciplined or may not be disciplined. But the word disciple comes from the word discipline. Has to be disciplined. Because in the material world we see, the student may be or may not be disciplined. Vagabond also. Like mostly in the colleges, what do? Sitting in the canteen. Attendance in the class, what is that? We are free bird, we never go inside the classroom and get stuck. But disciple, no. You can't be a disciple without being disciplined. That's why Shishya. The one who takes Shiksha is a Shishya. Actually, our Sanskrit words are more very appropriate. Vidyarthi. Arth means beneficial. Who takes Vidya as beneficial is a real Vidyarthi. Other are just namesake Vidyarthi, namesake student. Vidya, Arth. Who takes Vidya as Arth. Arth means sometimes you relate it with money also, no? Who takes, because money you consider the most important thing. So who takes Vidya as the most important thing in life is actually a Vidyarthi. The Sanskrit word, right? Others are only for namesake, they are Vidyarthi. Takes the dhan of Vidya. Takes the wealth of Vidya. The Vidyarthi. Wealth can be any type. Health is also wealth. It can be knowledge wealth. It can be money wealth. But he is only after knowledge wealth. Only after knowledge wealth. Generally, the so-called scholars, politicians, philosophers and swamis, without perfect knowledge of Krishna, tried to banish or kill Krishna when writing commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Generally, the so-called, now Prabhupada has called them so-called scholars, because in actually an English professor who writes a book on physics, the same example we are continuing, is actually a so-called scholar on physics. So here Prabhupada is using the word as so-called scholar is absolutely right, because he is a so-called scholar on Bhagavad Gita or a so-called philosopher, politician and so-called swamis. Not worth to be called a Swami. Swami means who's controlled his senses. Their senses are running wild. Nahin, today's, that's why you hear all those stories that Bangalore Sannyas Swami, he is a Swami. His senses are running wild and he calls himself Swami. Not Swami. That's why this word comes from Goswami. Go means senses. Who's the master of the senses? Goswami. Who's the master of the senses? That is Goswami. From that this word is short form, Swami. Actually it comes from the word go. Go means senses. These so-called Swamis, without perfect knowledge of Krishna, try to banish or kill Krishna when writing commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Kill means what? What does kill mean actually? Try to understand. Prabhupada uses a very strong word here, kill Krishna. If you don't obey your father, what does the father say? I am actually dead for you. I am actually dead for you. That is the basic problem. That these so-called scholars, philosophers, scientists, swamis, they banish or kill Krishna because they do not obey what he has stated. They do not do what Krishna is saying. They don't want to understand what Krishna wants to convey. Actually, they are not understand. See, when someone conveys something, what the first thing you do? He's trying to know that what he's trying to convey to you. And you must have noted yourself, if you are thinking something, what you want the other person to say, he may be actually saying exactly the opposite, and you'll be thinking that he's saying what you want to say. Right or wrong? It happens so many times. Because you're thinking something, and he's saying something, and you repeat what you are saying. You're not listening to me. I'm trying to tell you just the opposite, and you're speaking just the opposite. Then you'll say, yes, okay. What are you saying? So in the same way, these philosophers, these so-called swamis, these philosophers, these scholars, what do? Instead of listening to the words of Krishna and trying to understand that what is he trying to convey, they are conveying his thought, their own thoughts onto Lord Shri Krishna, and thus killing him. That's why in Hindi there is a very nice phrase I put across, which is उसे रोको मत जाने दो. What is it conveying? Is it trying to stop the person or letting him go? No. You can't perceive. You'll have to basically see that actually when this sentence was spoken at that particular point of time, what was he trying to convey? Then only you can put the comma also at the right place. Otherwise, you can't put the comma also. Sometimes people tell me, Prabhuji, will put the comma and everything will be okay. But how would you put the comma? बिकॉज उसे रोको मत जाने दो, उसे रोको मत जाने दो, उसे रोको मत जाने दो. Absolutely two opposite meanings in the same words. I have not changed the words. उसे रोको मत जाने दो, that means let him go. उसे रोको मत जाने दो, stop him, that means absolutely opposite. Now, if I make this statement, you will put your own thoughts into this, whatever you want to convey. You think what you think is good for you, or you want to put your own personal motivation or ambition or desire onto the desire of Krishna. That is what they are doing. They actually banish Krishna from, see, you're actually banishing or killing the author from the book, whose book you're reading. They're worst type of people. And that's what they have done with Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Prabhupada says here, such unauthorized commentary upon Bhagavad Gita is known as Mayavad Bhasya. And such commentary is known as Mayavad Bhasya. Maya means illusion. Ma, not ya, this, not this. Vad means argument. Vad means argument. And Bhasya means commentary. Bhasya means commentary. So here Prabhupada says, such unauthorized commentary upon Bhagavad Gita is known as Mayavad Bhasya. That means illusory arguments which are not real, which are away from the actually what Lord Krishna is trying to convey to us is actually Mayavad Bhasya. Any commentary which is not conveying what Krishna wants is actually what? Mayavad Bhasya. Remember one thing. Maya means not this. Ma means not, ya means this. Not this means illusion. Right? Illusion also means which is not the truth. Argument, vad means argument. Argument which is not the truth. Such commentaries should be rejected. Should you read them? Should you peep into them also? Why? Because I gave you the first example. What did I tell you? That they will lead you away from the main. And when they lead you away from the main, you'll have to come back the whole distance and then come onto the right path. So that is why go on that path where you don't have to, which is not leading you to the goal. Very simple. That's why avoid. That is what the problem today has come about, is this only. Why did I, after reading a few translations, I rejected? I did not want to study it because I could not understand head or tail what was going on. Because truth is easy to understand, but what is not truth is very difficult to understand. See, to make you understand 2 into 2 is 6. Is it easy or difficult? Difficult, it is almost impossible. Not difficult, it is impossible. So because 2 into 2 is not 6. So in the same way, these people who presented the commentary on Bhagavad Gita are people who are trying to present 2 into 2 is 6. So I could not understand them. So I started losing interest. And that's what happens with everyone. They start losing interest in Bhagavad Gita because they are so far away from the truth. When you read a devotee's translated Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, it's coming from the parampara, disciplic succession, authorized disciplic succession. It becomes so easy to understand. It becomes so easy. Because 2 into 2 is 4 is very easy to put across. When we are children, what would they do? They'll keep 4 pencils. है ना.